Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Aaron's Reading Room, and welcome to another edition of My Category Journey. We're going to be reading part two of our three-part Desire series that we're doing here, and so that is Best Laid Wedding Plans by the Karen Booth. Now, this vlog is going to start off a little different. I'll explain in the vlog entry by chapter 4, but I'm going to be talking about chapters 1 through 3 right now. So, chapter 1, we get introduced to our characters. We have Gray. He is the middle son, I believe, of Jameson, and it is his turn to come and take care of Moonlight Ridge while Jameson is still recovering from his brain event. And Mac and Molly, our main characters from the first book, they're gonna go to the sidelines a bit here because they've got their new relationship to work on. So we're gonna let them do that over there. And then we have our female main character, Autumn Kincaid, who is Molly's best friend from the first book. She is also the contracted wedding planner for Moonlight Ridge. She is also the daughter of a very powerful Hollywood executive who is in some hot water right now. And you know how the tabloids go, it just goes everywhere. So even though Autumn has had nothing to do with her father or her family for years and years and years, the paparazzi find her and embroil her in her father's issues whenever something comes up. So to say that Autumn's kind of on thin ice right now, it's tough because everyone there loves Autumn, but with the negative press and just with the kind of unforeseen future that Moonlight Ridge has right now, Autumn being in the press for bad news isn't really the best thing. There's a solution, though. Mac is going to assign Gray to look after Autumn, to help her out, is how he put it. Think there might be some different intentions, some maybe matchmaking intentions going on here, but that's all right. We're all about it. Gray knows nothing about wedding planning, though, so this is going to be wonderful. There might be some good workplace fights, things like that going on, but he's very aware that she's probably not going to like him. When Autumn hears about it, she's like, well, he's not going to like me because I'm going to be telling him everything he should know. She's not going to just let this architect come in and pretend that he knows anything about planning a wedding. Well, chapter 2 rolls around, and Autumn decides she's going to make this as painless as possible, so she decides to bring pastries and coffee to Gray's cabin first thing in the morning so that they can see what their working relationship's going to be like. Well, it starts off quite great because who's there doing shirtless push-ups on their porch when Autumn arrives but Gray, and there was quite a one of those moments there. So wonderful start to their relationship. Start with that spark, that fire in the pants there. Anyway, getting too ahead of myself here. They do all right. They do all right. I think it helps that they're attracted to each other, but they talk like adults and understand that Gray's not really going to know how to help, but that's all right. Autumn appreciates the help, and they agree that they're going to work together. So it's super, super sweet. We also, in the early chapters, we got some more of Jameson, who is the father of the three boys. And he is, dealing with his health event, recovering, but he's got his nurse, Jada, who used to work housekeeping for Moonlight Ridge, but went off to college, got a nursing degree, all of that, came back and decided to help Jameson out because all of his other nurses before had been fired, but Jameson doesn't like her as a nurse that much either, but it's more because he'd rather just have her as a wife than a nurse. So that's super cute and still going on. It's still going on at the end of this book, so we'll have to depend on Reese Ryan to really wrap that one up. But in chapter 3, Gray and Autumn's relationship, it warms up pretty quickly, and they find that they complement each other quite well. There was a high-ticket wedding that was shopping around the Moonlight Ridge area. The mother of the bride was not so impressed with the place, but Gray put on his salesman hat, really talked up the place, got the mother of the bride on board. We have a pretty good working relationship right now. We're just going to have to hope that it stays that way and maybe works into a wonderful personal relationship as well. So I will go on to chapter 4, and I will check in with you then. Everyone, I've finished chapter 4. Things have been a bit crazy on this read through here. I've had a lot of other book priorities, and this one doesn't have a due date, so it ends up getting pushed back. As well, I had some video trouble. I tried some new software. It didn't work out. The video and audio got out of sync, so the previous 3 chapters I have pretty useless footage from. I got kind of hung up on that, but I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go forward. I'm going to finish the book, and then I'm going to do the first 3 chapters again when I go around the horn. So, in the spirit of just keeping moving, chapter 4, we have some new developments in the Holloway family. I can't give it away quite yet, but I will just say Autumn has an emergency wedding she and Gray need to plan. Not only that, they need to get the barn that Mac and Gray are going to turn into a brewery, they have to get that ready for the ceremony too. So they're starting already in crunch time, but that just means that Gray and Autumn are going to have to work close together and a lot more often, a lot more frequent. It'd probably be easier if they just moved into the same cabin, and then they could just always be available for each other whenever they need anything. The relationship is also smoothing out a bit. I think these two understand each other a little better, and it's going to make for some good interaction. There was already a few in there, some light touches here and there. Very exciting stuff. So I'm going to continue on. I will go on to chapter 5, and I will check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I have finished chapter 5. You know those moments when both the characters start to realize not only their feelings, but just the feelings that they're having are probably reciprocated by the other one. Well, we got that, and we got it in a great scene too. The biggest thing that happened, and there were actually a lot of big things that happened in this chapter, but I guess as far as Moonlight Ridge in general, the big thing that happened was that the senator's daughter's wedding happened, and it had some really great moments of Gray and Autumn together working through things that can happen during wedding ceremonies and such. We also had a turning point. Feel like we've been having little ones through most of the chapters so far, but we had a very, very nice one here. I can't say anything about it other than it was structured very well. It built perfectly, and then it got cut short, frustratingly perfectly, but then there was some follow-up that perfectly hooks you into the next chapter. So I'm going to go on to chapter 6, and I will check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I have finished chapter 6, and oh my goodness, wow. So I should probably start back at the beginning, which I don't want to do. I just want to tell you about the end right now. Not all about it, but some about it. Chapter 6, we've got Molly and Mac's engagement party. We're so happy for them, and it's super awesome to see them come back. It's always fun to check in on those past characters and to see them at an engagement party, being all sweet with each other. It was just, oh. But that's skipping ahead too. We had a great moment between Gray and Autumn. They crossed another bridge in their relationship, and this is right before they go to the engagement party. So they're both a little on edge. They don't know what to make of it, how the other one feels about it. We also got another perspective from Jameson, and I love these little interludes in these stories so far. It's really cool to get his perspective of things, and it's super sweet, his relationship with Jada, his nurse who's taking care of him, but he is so in love with her. He's so taken with her. It is just incredible to read. Oh my goodness. But at the engagement party, Molly and Mac have a dance, and it's just super sweet to go back to all our feelings we had with their story. Then Gray and Autumn do some dancing too, and the swoon. Oh my goodness, the swoon. Now, my friend and co-host of the Categorically Romance podcast, Bree, always teases me about how much of a swooner I am, and oh man, did chapter 6 prove it. I might be useless for days. That was just everything I needed. Oh my goodness. It's like Karen Booth wrote that chapter specifically for me. I'm just on a cloud right now, and I'm going to go on to chapter 7, and I will check in with you then. Good morning, everyone. I've finished chapter 7. Chapter 6 had the swoon. Chapter 7 followed up with the steam. And oh my goodness, too. This is a desire novel. We should not be surprised, but I was surprised. And all in the good ways, of course. So I'll just have to say, very well done there. So Autumn and Gray are obviously doing very well right now, but there were some things that were lined up that might shake things up a bit. Gray has to go out of town and deal with personnel stuff going on with the business back at the headquarters. So he and Autumn are going to have to experience time apart, get into those feelings of not having the other person around, all that juicy stuff. So I will go on to chapter 8 and I will check in with you then. All right, everyone, I finished chapter 8. There was even more steam involved in a very literal fashion because it involved a shower. So I'll just leave that there for you to ponder on. This was going to be a great send-off for Gray. Everyone involved was pretty pleased, but some things got changed up just a slight bit. There was some brotherly persuasion that happened in there. I can't speak to it specifically, but remember, you can purchase this book yourself and get everything involved in it. So we're going to get more time with Autumn and Gray together, and Autumn's got a birthday coming up, and I love birthday moments in romances because they tend to be super sweet. So I am very excited to get to something like that. So I'm going to go on to chapter 9, and I will check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 9, and we've got, we're at that point of the book where we've got to tee up some trouble that's coming, and, Gray is the troubled one right now, though I think he's doing this thing where he is projecting. He's got some stuff he's dealing with on the inside, but he doesn't know how to process it properly, so he's lashing out at the things around him, like his brothers. Mainly Mac, because Mac's the one that's there right now, so we will have to wait till book 3 until we've got all of the brothers involved. So Gray's a little hot-headed right now. I feel like he's probably going to make a mistake here soon, or it will lead to him saying something that he probably shouldn't, probably doesn't mean, absolutely doesn't mean. I'm just speculating here, so I will just have to go on to chapter 10, and I will check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 10, and it was so sweet. It was super cute. So it was Autumn's birthday. There was a bit of drama with her dad sending some presents her way, but she's still keeping her distance from the family there because that's just nothing but trouble, and she wants to stay out of that. She wants to keep her job at Moonlight Ridge, all of that stuff. But when we get to the actual birthday date that Gray prepares for her and everything, and the antics that they get up to, it is so wonderful. You can just tell that Gray did his homework. I'm saying too much. I can't give it all away. It's just super sweet, and my goodness, we get even more steam. This book is like a kitchen that's cooking only rice. We've just got steam all over the place, and we love it. So I'm going to go on, read chapter 11. I'll check in with you then. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 11, and I have to say, Jameson and Giada are super cute. They're like the real love story that's happening over the Moonlight Ridge trilogy. I'm super excited to see where the resolution on all of that plays out, but let's focus on this book right here, right now. We had more cute moments with Autumn and Gray, but it hit a snag, and that Gray is just dug in his heels, and that's about all I can say about it. And you know what? Autumn made a decision for the both of them. And good for her, even though we don't quite like the decision, something had to happen. Something had to give. She made sure it happened. So we're in a bit of a rough spot at the end of chapter 11. I'll admit that's all right. I know Karen is going to see us through just fine. So I'm going to go on to chapter 12, and I will check in with you then. Good morning, everyone. I have finished Best Laid Wedding Plans by Karen Booth, and it was probably the sweetest desire I've ever read. Not that other desires aren't sweet, but this one felt almost like it had heartwarming vibes in it, except it had, the steam that a desire would have. So if you're looking for a bit of a crossroads between those lines here, check out Best Laid Wedding Plans by Karen Booth. This was super fun because we were already so familiar with Moonlight Ridge and Jameson and Jada and what's going on there. There's so much for us to be happy for at the end of this book. Mac and Molly got married. Autumn and Gray got to look super cute at the engagement party, at the wedding, and they also had their own little secret kind of moment because they don't want to steal. You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not going to give you details about the end of the book here, but I have to say it was great. Great second part, building on the first that Joss Wood gave us. So, I'm very eager to go on to book number 3 because there's still a lot to figure out in Moonlight Ridge. We still don't know who's stealing from the accounts, and we definitely need to figure that out. And we also need that third piece of the puzzle. We need Traps to come in and for these brothers to squash whatever it is between them that's been keeping them apart so that, they can all be a happy family in Moonlight Ridge once again. So I would love to thank Karen Booth so much for writing this book. It was an amazing read. I know it took me a little longer on this one. Life stuff happens, but here we are now, and I gotta tell you, check out this Moonlight Ridge series, especially check out Best Laid Wedding Plans by Karen Booth. I'd also like to thank Harlequin Books for putting out these amazing stories into the world, and I'd like to thank all of you who follow along on my category journey and follow my channel in general. It would not be the same without you. So I'm ready to move on to the next book in our series that we've got going here. But until then, enjoy your reading journey, and I will see you in the next video.